And now, the world's most watched professional wrestling news program, the Pro Wrestling Report.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's most watched professional wrestling news program. It is the Pro Wrestling Report, and this is a special edition of the Pro Wrestling Report as we preview WrestleMania 24. Damian Nelson sitting alongside Frank Cosentino and the man they call Meathead. And we thank you very much for joining us on television here in Milwaukee, Nome, and Topeka, and all over the world at pwrshow.com. Gentlemen, it happens once a year. It is the grandest spectacle of them all.
I know what it is.
Showcase of the Immortals. It is WrestleMania.
I thought it was something else.
The Pro Wrestling Report team, you and I will have the privilege of being at WrestleMania 24 in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to take this time today to give you the official PWR preview of WrestleMania. Meathead, this is my sixth, your second WrestleMania. Third WrestleMania, and it will be an amazing event. The Citrus Bowl in Orlando being transformed into the spectacular venue that it will be.
Into the epicenter of wrestling.
Very good, very good. Did you practice that one, didn't you?
No, that's, again, I shoot from the top, folks. Shoot from the top.
Frank is going to be our man back here, manning the studio and making sure the shows get up and to you.
I almost said Frank will be back here on the stick. I apologize.
I'll just be walking around with a microphone just trying to talk to anybody.
And you did a great job on the stick at the last GLCW show. Next show, June 7th,
yes.
Taste of Summer in Waukesha, I believe. But it be that as it may, let's talk about WrestleMania 24, and we'll talk about the first match, which is a good place to start, welcoming Meathead back to the show here. Bunny Mania. Hosted by Snoop Dogg and Dogg for Schnizzle. My Nizzle? Can I say that on air?
No, because you have to be more black. I'm sorry.
Bunny Mania. Candice and Maria will team up as former Playboy centerfolds and will go up against the Glamazon and Melina in that matchup, hosted by Snoop Dogg. And obviously we'll see some inclusion of Santino Marella in that matchup. He made my top 3 last week. Your thoughts, Frank, on that huge matchup, Bunny Mania, which I think is one of the smarter ways they've involved the Playboy angle in WrestleMania since they've been doing it. This one makes some sense.
Is it? Hopefully they're not kicking off the show with this.
Well, it's the lineup that the interns have prepared for me.
All right. It's going to be awful, but it's going to be eye candy, which is part of WrestleMania, which will make that part of the audience very, very happy. The wrestling note, adding Snoop, it's just going to be... Hopefully the comedy...
Snoop is a pop sensation. Snoop is amazing. Snoop is an icon in this world.
I'm glad you think he is. But Santino could add the comedy to it, which would make it worth watching. I just hope they bury this thing right in the middle and move on with it myself.
Meathead, your thoughts?
Snoop Dogg is definitely off the hizzle, faux shizzle, unquote.
Can you say that on TV?
He just did.
I just did. Thank you. This match will be a match that they probably throw, I'd say, before one of the main serious matches, be it the World Heavyweight Championship match or be it the WWE Championship match. It'll be something, it'll be comic relief is really what it'll be. And what kind of weirds me out is this year apparently they're lumberjacks again, but weren't they lumberjills before? Are they lumberjills, lumberjacks? Are they saying that the jills are men? I don't know. I don't know. It's been a while, folks. I haven't been on the air in a couple weeks.
Yeah, welcome back.
I haven't been on the air in a couple weeks.
All right, did you pick a winner? The team that's going to go over in that match?
If Candice makes it to WrestleMania.
That's a good point. At this point, we think she will.
If Candice makes it to WrestleMania, they will be the winner. Faux shizzle.
Frank, your choice.
This will be a DQ.
Ugh, they don't do DQ in women's matches,
Yes,
Frank.
they will. This will be a DQ.
Taking the easy way out is Frank. I, too, agree with Meathead. Candice and Maria seem to make some sense in that match. Maria is on the cover of Playboy. And Meathead, your thoughts on that particular edition of the magazine? She
does not have tickle bitties.
Let's move on to the next match, which is a Belfast Brawl. It is the Wrestling God, JBL, going up against Finlay, who loves to fight. Thank God his music is back to the old way because it was not working so well, the remix, if you will. We've seen a great build to this match, minus the Hornswoggle thud, if you will, of Finlay being the actual father. What we've seen since is passion, emotion from Finlay. We've seen intensity that we have come to know from JBL. We have what could be a great grudge match, but we had what could have been a great grudge match at the Royal Rumble between JBL and Jericho. What are we going to see in this matchup, Frank Cosentino? Your thoughts?
It's going to be a brawl all over the place, and that's what we're expecting out of these two guys. Finlay, as for what he is, this is his style of wrestling, and it should be dynamite if they do this right.
You go with Finlay.
I am going to go with Finlay, yes.
That's not necessarily true. That's Finlay may look like he should be a brawler, and his gimmick says that he loves the fight, but Finlay is a technical wrestler. Finlay was until he got brought back.
Finlay was a technical wrestler.
Let me finish.
No, I'm going to interrupt you. You did for 10 years.
Wow. Ladies
Finlay
and gentlemen, it's like the
was a
episode of All in the
technical
Family
wrestler.
when...
He was a technical wrestler. He's
Finlay,
now
up until he was brought
100
back,
pounds.
Finlay until he was brought back into WWE was a producer, and he produced the women's wrestling that we have known and loved.
Right.
He produced Trish Stratus. He produced Lita. He produced those matches, the women's matches that have put WWE women's wrestling where it is today. Finlay is a technical wrestler, and right now his gimmick is to fight. His gimmick is to be a brawler. He can wrestle. He has an amateur background as well. My choice is JBL.
I'm sorry?
JBL.
John Bradshaw Layfield.
Yes.
Is there a reason you picked him? Because he is a...
Because there's no need. Finlay doesn't need this match.
Does JBL need this match?
Yes.
Really?
To keep the JBL going.
I, too, go with JBL for the simple reason that he is indeed a wrestling god.
So you just go for the Markism,
Yes.
where I go for the...
Well, listen, this is one of those matches that truly can go either way. It's a gimmick attached to Finlay, so there's a natural persuasion for him to win, if you will. But,
See, I think it ends. This angle ends, and for the most part, they usually try to end angles in...
Not anymore, Frank.
Well,
Backlash.
they usually, not all the time, they usually try to end an angle where the good guy comes out on top. I think this angle ends based on there's not much more to do with these two guys, and that's why I think Finlay wins. But it could go either way, obviously.
it is a battle royal, 24 men. We know Kane's involved. I'll find 23 others, I guess. But 24 men from all three brands will compete in a battle royal to determine who will go up against the ECW champion. His name, Chavo Guerrero. He will defend the ECW championship immediately following the 24-man over-the-top rope battle royal. Expect that battle royal to be a quick one. Expect the match to be a doozy, because really, there are a lot of surprise opportunities there. It could be an Elijah Burke. It could be a Kofi Kingston. It could be any number of people in that matchup. And really, the unknown is what makes this match a bit more intriguing. So we can't pick the winner of the battle royal because we don't know who's in it. But we can certainly say whether or not Chavo's going to walk out of WrestleMania with the ECW Championship. Frank, your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to this one, just based on there could be surprise added to it if they do it correctly.
And here's a question. ECW Championship match. Would you be looking forward to it if there was not the Battle Royal gimmick?
Yeah, I would. I mean, this is ECW's WrestleMania match, and they need to pull it off if they want to continue that brand going. So I'm looking forward to that.
ECW did what last year?
6-man originals versus the New Blood.
All right.
Was it the Breed or the Blood? Which was WCW? That's a legitimate question because I forget at this point.
WCW was New Blood.
New Blood.
Vince McMahon's ECW was New Breed.
Frank, you go with Chavo walking out with the strap?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Meathead, your thoughts?
Can I use the strap-on joke here?
Absolutely not.
Sign here first. Here you go.
Chavo Guerrero will walk out of this with the belt if he faces a heel. Chavo Guerrero will not walk out of this if he faces CM Punk or another face.
Well, CM Punk is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know if they're going to dual use talents as they did when the entire Raw roster wrestled Orton and Cena last week.
Depending on how quick that Royal Rumble goes, I could see that happening with CM Punk doing the double dip.
You know,
Double dip that chip.
You've got several opportunities, and there's too many. We can't speculate on who it might be because there's so many opportunities for WWE.
The rest of the talent roster, and I do like the fact that Vince McMahon is allowing everybody to work. I mean, if you have a 24-man battle royal, that's the rest of your roster. That's the rest of your talent pool.
Right.
It could be The Miz. And here's my problem. Did you pick Chavo? Yes or no? Walks out.
I did give you a pick with steps.
Chavo, yes or no? Walks out with the title.
With steps.
If it's a heel, he does. If it's a face, he doesn't. You're basically saying there's a 50-50 chance he's going to walk out of
If it's a heel, I'll explain it. If it's a heel, Chavo Guerrero walks out with that belt. If it's a face, like CM Punk, Chavo Guerrero does not walk out.
Bobby Heenan has been on this program 3 times, ladies and gentlemen. I will go with Chavo walking out of WrestleMania with the... No, you know what? Here's the thing.
Ooh, always go at your first instinct.
Here's the thing. Chavo can play the surprise angle. You can get an angle out of this for a couple weeks. Let's say Chavo wrestles somebody he wasn't ready for. Maybe it's Kane. He gets taken off guard. He gets beat. And then we've got an angle on ECW for the next several weeks. That would be the smart play by WWE, I think. Or maybe Chavo chases the title after losing it at WrestleMania. But I think you got to make a splash ECW-wise at WrestleMania. And I think the way to do it is to have Chavo drop the strip. So I'm going with somebody else.
All right.
That's okay. That's a tough one to pick. So when I do get that match correct, it'll just taste even better.
The tag team championships for either brand not being defended at WrestleMania.
And when was the last time?
Oh, no, but here's the question. Don't you take a WrestleMania and don't you simply build the title matches and that's your card?
You're supposed to.
You go up the card. You start with the women's. You go Intercontinental. There's a U.S. title match. There's a tag title match for both brands. And then there's world title matches for all 3 brands. There's your card. That's WrestleMania. And Money in the Bank. You need a gimmick match in there.
They're basically dumping the tag team. This is your
and
opportunity.
And the Cruiserweight. Where was the Cruiserweight? Where has that been since Horny dropped it?
I think it was actually officially retired now. I think there was some blurb somewhere about it being officially retired. But that's
was
my
it in
problem.
Was it in the industry news or the WWE news?
That's the problem right now is you've got all these titles and you've got the Miz and Morrison holding up these tag team strips.
Not to go on to a whole thing, but it's like Damian Nelson's Raw.
Listen. Thank you. That's my problem. And why hold up these titles? Why make these titles relevant if you're not going to defend them on the biggest show of the year? Why are the titles there? Intercontinental Championship, it's in the Money in the Bank match. The ECW Championship, at least getting defended because sometimes it's an afterthought. You've obviously got the World and WWE titles, but the U.S. title also in the Money in the Bank ladder match. The tag titles, Morrison is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Tag titles are split. And who are the WWE Tag Team Champions right now?
And Rhodes.
Yeah.
They lost them.
Irrelevant.
They didn't even have the belts on Raw last.
It's the biggest show of the year, and you don't have your tag teams up for grabs. I just that
at least one of them. I mean, and then again, at least the point, why have the belts if you're not going to defend them? And even the Intercontinental and the U.S. Championship. I mean,
and why should we care about them when you finally get around to defending them? Because they were never prestigious.
And we saw Jeff Hardy defend the Intercontinental Championship. Why? Because he had to drop it because of his suspension.
Right.
Anyways, tangent. Let's go into the next matchup, which is SmackDown versus Raw. A unique match, but I like where WWE is going with it so far. SmackDown versus Raw for brand supremacy. It is Umaga versus Batista, the Animal. In last year, Batista had a street fight with The Undertaker. And they had a great brawling match at WrestleMania 23 in Detroit's Ford Field. Batista's got that opportunity to put on a clinic, if you will, with Umaga. Both brawlers. Batista, who does have some wrestling ability, can wrestle. Umaga, who can do the same thing. It should be a very interesting match, but really, who knows where it's going to go? You would say SmackDown doesn't win, but look at the trail that was on at the end of the dual-branded pay-per-views. I'm sorry, when the dual-branded pay-per-views were starting, and we've seen SmackDown on top of the card in many of those and walking out, sending the fans home with a SmackDown product. So it can go either way. I'm going to pick Batista in that matchup because that makes the most sense. And you've got a man, remember, folks, who went from being on top of the card in the SmackDown WWE or World Championship match last year at WrestleMania to being in this made-up brand supremacy match this year at WrestleMania. I think that says something. But, Frank, your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. I was picking my DQ of the night, and I'm going to bet this will be the DQ of the night.
Then what happens to Bunny Mania?
Well, then I have to change that Because I think what the Bunny Mania thing, no one's going to know what's going to happen, and it'll be Santino and Snoop Dogg just kind of yelling at each other towards the end, and then it just, let's go on to the next match. This will be the DQ of the night. This one will continue somehow. I don't know how they'll do it, but this will be my DQ. It's too tough to call. It should be a great match, though.
Meathead, your thoughts?
My thoughts are that Batista is still one of the top faces in WWE, and especially on SmackDown. And Batista is in this match only because there was nobody else to match him up with this year. There really was nobody else to put him on the card with. He already did the Undertaker thing. Who is he going to be with? Edge? Edge needs to be with Undertaker this year. So where was Batista going to go? This Raw Supremacy match, or Raw SmackDown Supremacy match, is stupid. It makes no sense. Do you care which brand is better? Because they're all the same thing anyway. They all show up on the other shows. It's the same thing.
The key is after the match, though. Is anybody going to care who won?
No one's
That's the key.
care.
After the match,
no one cares
no legs
before.
Here.
No one cares before who won.
I think there's some general interest going in because of the way
of
they
the persons, not because of the brands.
I think the way they've pushed it with Umaga showing up on SmackDown, which really, I was there, it was a big deal. It was like, oh, cool, Umaga's here. Because you don't expect to see him. So yes, the brands intermingle. Yes, there's the talent exchange between SmackDown and ECW. But there are still those moments where it's like, okay, you expected sort of kind of the following week on Raw for Batista to come out, but he didn't. So they still have that psychological play they can make. But I don't think at the end of that match and the next night on Raw that it's going to matter.
Over the last 5 years, they have just killed any interest in a brand versus brand versus brand. They've killed it.
You know what I will say is when the commentating teams take jabs at each other is when it's most effective as far as this brand
Royal Rumble
challenge. Oh yeah, the mangled mess that was the Royal Rumble with the 6-minute ringside commentary, and Survivor Series 02-03. There was an all-out brawl at ringside between the 6 commentators where Taz was just in everybody's face and Lawler was getting all ticked off. And I mean,
that's
really,
that's when Taz could still go physically.
And that's what gives it some realism. I mean, now it's SmackDown versus Raw. It's a joke. It's a complete joke because why does it matter? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Speaking of not caring, what's your pick?
Batista.
The Animal. Frank, you
I
got to
walk for
modify
miles inside this pit of danger.
You got to modify your Bunny Mania.
Yeah, that'll go with Candice.
What about her tag team partner?
Let me show you how
Is she
to
gonna win
move
too?
your
She'll
body.
win. Candice and Melina will win that, and then I'll stick with a DQ in this one.
Next matchup, ladies and gentlemen, this really is a good WrestleMania so far. I mean, we've joked about the Bunny Mania match and the Batista Umaga match, but at their core, the matches are good. The matches are good. And then the next one certainly is going to deliver. It is the Money in the Bank ladder match, the 4th annual, I believe, and it will include the following participants: John Morrison, CM Punk, Carlito, the Gold Standard, Shelton Benjamin, Ken Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, MVP, and Chris Jericho, Y2J.
Why 7 this year?
Exactly. Is there an 8th? We don't know at the time of this taping if somebody may have been added at the last minute, but we do know there are 7 names in it. It is Money in the Bank. The man who gets that briefcase not only wins the match, but wins a shot at any of the 3 championship brands at any point they want. All but Kennedy have gone on to win the title as a result of that Money in the Bank victory. And you could even say Kennedy did it because Edge did it with his Money in the Bank,
The briefcase
last year.
has cashed in and won. Unfortunately, Kennedy lost control of his briefcase.
Exactly. This match can be all over the place. The bar has been set substantially high for Money in the Bank. We've got some power players. I think we're going to see a standout performance by John Morrison, CM Punk, Shelton Benjamin, who is always a pleasure to watch in the ring for his sheer physical abilities. Y2J has got a lot to prove to himself and to his fans in this matchup. There's so much going on. Carlito, who some would say is just sort of there nowadays, but could be a standout star in this match. The question is, who wins? Who grabs that briefcase and then goes on to, if Kennedy wins, he has said that night he will cash it in, which is an interesting prospect. But maybe it is all tied into this Battle Royal with ECW. The Battle Royal winner gets trumped because the Money in the Bank winner comes out and takes the ECW title. There's so much potential with this, which is what makes this match so fun and interesting and unique. It is Money in the Bank. 7 participants announced. Frank, your pick for who will win Money in the Bank this year.
That's what I like about this match is there's no guarantee. From top to bottom, you can't say, well, it's definitely not going to be Carlito.
And we've done that the last 3 years.
You're right. I'm going to go with CM Punk here, just as a surprise. I think it's going to be CM Punk and Kennedy at the end, where everyone's going to go, it's got to be Kennedy now. And then CM Punk out of nowhere grabs this thing. It's my pick.
Meathead, your thoughts?
Again, as Frank just mentioned, this is the first year where I can't do the normal and go down the list and go, well, it won't be him, it won't be him, it won't be him. And
it wouldn't be Flair, WrestleMania 22.
It wouldn't be Hardy or Hardy.
It wouldn't be Hardy or Finlay last year.
Finlay, or I'd said both Hardys, yes, last year. Yeah, there's, out of all seven, this is kind of like the NBA futures game. Every one of these are these are the guys that are next in line. All seven of these participants are next in line. These are the ones that at any point could be your next heavyweight champion, and nobody would say, he's up there too soon. I don't know if he belongs. I don't know if things are working out for him. I don't know who to pick, and I really would like to see it be.
Ooh, well now.
Mr. Kennedy.
I didn't tell everybody to wait.
That's too bad. I couldn't wait. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't been on a program for 2 weeks. I've been screaming around in my apartment going, Kennedy! I've been playing video games with Adam Kennedy on the Cardinals.
Bongos and puffs of white smoke.
This wasn't George Kennedy.
Did you pick a winner?
I'm playing the Cardinals
I
game.
forgot through all that hoopla.
I'm playing the Cardinals game, and every time Adam Kennedy fielded a ball, I said, Kennedy! I was at my home by myself.
Morrison. That's when y'all say, what? Why?
No.
You can't.
No, it can't
I
happen.
think back to John Morrison and being claimed and being hailed as one of the best WWE champions, all three brands, as he was ECW champion. Morrison underrated. Morrison a great talent. Morrison a star. Morrison can walk out of that with a Money in the Bank opportunity.
Just lacking in mic skills.
And make that move. But he can make that move over from ECW to Raw or SmackDown, which many
and
would
nobody
say
would question.
That time is now, because remember what ECW was at one point when he went over to be the big star, the proving ground. I think John Morrison has proven himself. Moving up the card, ladies and gentlemen, career-threatening match. This one has a lot of emotion surrounding it. It is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame the night before. At WrestleMania, he will go one-on-one with the showstopper, the main event, Shawn Michaels, HBK Flair. Flair's career is on the line. Ric Flair has everything to lose and a lot more to gain in this matchup. Shawn Michaels has promised that he will end the career of Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24 in Orlando, Florida. Frank, your thoughts?
Shawn Michaels will win this match, and it'll be the farewell for Ric Flair. He'll ride off, hopefully, into the sunset, where he's contributed to so much in wrestling. I think Shawn Michaels gets this.
Meathead.
Shawn Michaels wins the match, but in a surprise move, a kayfabe move, if you will. The entire locker room comes out, led by Vince McMahon.
That would
And
be
they walk him right off.
That would
Grown
be
men
brilliant.
in the audience will cry, including this reporter
That would
right
be
here.
absolutely perfect if they could do that.
Let's look at the facts. Ric Flair is nearly 60 years old. Ric Flair, I think, realizes his time has passed. Ric Flair, a man who has publicly stated that he will not be inducted into a Hall of Fame until he retires. This weekend is the greatest scenario for Ric Flair to bow out. This is the greatest opportunity for Ric Flair to leave the business. He's being inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before. Will be a truly emotional night. There will be a lot of emotion and drama surrounding this match. I think you're going to see something very unique at this WrestleMania. It won't be like WrestleMania 8 when it was Hogan's last match. And it won't be like WrestleMania 6 when it was Hogan's last match. This is true, genuine, legit retirement. This is genuine respect. This is genuine emotion, which Ric Flair has no problem with, as we know. And I think at WrestleMania we will be a part of one of the most amazing WrestleMania moments, no matter how the match ends. Because no matter what, there will be accolades given to Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. I firmly believe Ric Flair will lose the match and retire at WrestleMania because of the scenario I just laid out. But truly, the honor will be for all of us in attendance and for HBK to be on the other side of the ring. Continuing along, this one is unique because we don't really know what it's going to be, but we do know the participants, and they are The Big Show and Floyd Money Pretty Boy Mayweather. Frank, you just don't like it at all.
Oh no.
At all.
No, I don't like how this is going.
What don't you like about it? $20 million, which is not true, which we first broke here on this show, and everybody's out there, oh, he's getting $20 million. He's not getting $20 million, folks. We told you that. Be that as it may.
It's going to be a stall tactic kind of thing where Mayweather runs around the ring and Big Show then, it's going to be good 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning of nothing, and then finally, I don't know how this is going to go. I think Big Show comes out on top, but people are going to want something to happen, and I think it's going to be Mayweather running around the ring for 10 minutes.
If we decided what type of match this is, do we know how a winner is?
It's a fight. I don't know what that means.
How do you determine the winner?
One would think it's a boxing match
They
from
have
the
judges,
dialogue
and
thus far.
if they have any kind of judging thing, it's just going to be stupid.
But here's the thing. There is no way it can be a real boxing match between Floyd Mayweather, one of the best boxers ever.
No, it
Pound
can't.
for
And Big
pound, the
Show.
best boxer in the world right now.
And Big Show,
Absolutely.
a great professional wrestler, but he's not a boxer. I mean,
Well,
you're going to have Brawl
he
for
has
All,
boxed.
WrestleMania 14.
Right. Well, have we seen Bart
Butterbean
Gunson's?
again. Exactly. You're going to have, I think we did see him on the 15th anniversary
We did.
show, didn't we?
We did. That was the first time we had seen him, too, since Butterbean knocked him out.
Knocked out. You're going to have another scenario where it's going to be like, wow, okay. And then you're crapping on the business at that point.
Right.
So WWE's got a fine line to walk. I think, as Frank said, it will be a lot of theatrics in that match. And I think we're going to see a fight where it's boxing, sort of wrestling, where Big Show won't be disqualified for body slamming Mayweather, as did Roddy Piper to Mr. T, I think it was at WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, but also, Thunderlips picked up Rocky Balboa. No, it wasn't Thunderlips. What was his name?
Thunderlips.
It was Thunderlips in a movie? Thunderlips picked up Rocky Balboa. And, that it's just a gimmick. This whole match is a gimmick. So, I can't predict for it because there's no set rules on how anybody wins.
Will it be fun to watch?
No.
I don't.
That's
think
my
so.
prediction.
Even
Even though Big Show is fun to watch.
Frank and I talked 2 weeks ago about how this angle was progressing and how WWE was handling it. And we found it to be an intriguing angle.
Only
It's not
because
the
of what
focal
happened
point.
in Milwaukee.
Exactly.
That whole pull apart with his entourage or his
But I
posse
enjoy
or whatever Big Show called it.
posse. I enjoy seeing
Because I think
very
he said
close
posse.
there. I enjoy seeing
With an L.
the backstories of Mayweather and the backstory of the Big Show. This has big match hype behind it.
It has to because it's the big media grabber for the year.
Exactly.
Last year was Donald Trump. Year before that was something. This is the media grabber.
Now we get into championship categories, and the first of which will be the World Heavyweight Championship. It is Edge, who is undefeated at WrestleMania, by the way, versus The Undertaker, who, oh, by the way, is also undefeated at WrestleMania. This match, unique because of the stakes. Will The Undertaker go 16-0, or will he drop the match and Edge walk out of WrestleMania still World Heavyweight Champion, which could very well happen. Edge, the most resilient and opportunistic superstar, probably in the history of WWE, comes out on top usually. The Undertaker, though, 16-0, 15-1, I just don't see it happening. It's got to be The Undertaker in that match, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. They tout it every year. Undefeated, undefeated, undefeated. We don't know if this is Undertaker's last year of wrestling. Probably not. I see him winning this thing and keeping that WrestleMania streak going, which it adds to it.
Here comes the stealing of Frank's gimmick. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? It'll be a DQ. The Undertaker wins by disqualification. Your heavyweight champion, Edge.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
You preserve both images.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker's got to have that last ride, though. Because remember, his championship
do that
reign last year
backlash.
was thwarted by injury.
Backlash. Because feuds don't end at WrestleMania anymore.
Has there been, and maybe the viewing audience can,
PWRshow.com.
has Undertaker in his 16-0 streak, 15-0 streak, has there been a DQ?
No, he's pinned 15 opponents.
Including Mark Henry.
He's pinned
Yeah.
15 opponents.
I see that. That's why it makes sense. But then you add, well, he's 15-0.
15-0-1.
Yeah. I don't know if
Hey,
they want
Mayweather's got a couple ties in there too, but he's undefeated.
That's not a loss.
Right.
Never lost to
Undefeated.
WrestleMania.
As in not been defeated.
Could happen.
So what was Frank's prediction on that?
I took Taker.
You took Taker. Okay.
Taker, DQ.
Okay. I had one of those at DQ once.
One of the top matches, the other top match on the card is a three-way dance. It is a three-way match for the WWE Championship.
Yeah,
the
not
champion,
a dance. It's a triple threat.
The champion, Randy Orton, will walk in and have two men to defend his title against. The first of which being John Cena, the winner of the Royal Rumble, the man who didn't beat Randy Orton in February at No Way Out. And his other opponent will be the ever-resilient and ever-championship-like Triple H. This match has an amazing dynamic in it where a lot of people are going to assume going into it Triple H will win. A lot of people will have that assumption. A lot of times when people have had that assumption, it has not come to fruition. Triple H winning the Elimination Chamber at No Way Out made a lot of sense. You needed Triple H in this main event match at WrestleMania. John Cena returning at the Rumble and working his way through, up, and into this match makes a lot of sense. Randy Orton, one of the greatest heel champions in the last 10 years, makes a lot of sense in this match. You can really make, if you will, Frank can explain what that means in a minute, but you can make Randy Orton. He can be made at WrestleMania by walking out, defeating both those men, retaining the WWE Championship, instant solidification of his credibility and his ability and his championship status. Randy Orton, when he tells his story, has a great story. He has beat them all. He has defeated them all. He has killed the legends. He has persevered as WWE Champion and will continue to do so, I think, after WrestleMania 24. But I will say, I will quantify that by saying, anybody can win this match. The natural face choice is John Cena. The natural piss everybody off choice is Triple H. But Triple H deserves it, folks. It's been a while since Triple H has been champion. He had it for 20 minutes at No Way Out, I think. But I'm sorry, yeah, it was No Way Out in November or October. No mercy. It was
I
the
tried.
No. It was the no I got stuck on. No mercy.
I
we
tried.
were there too.
Yeah,
by the way.
tried to let you fix it on your own. I really did.
I'm worked up. I'm fired up.
I'm happy for you.
I think so. I think Orton walks out with the championship in that matchup.
Now, Frank.
If this is the last match of the night, which I think we're all assuming it's going to be, you guys help me out here. When was the last time they didn't send the fans home happy?
Depending on which fans you're speaking of, because remember, half of the world hates the 2007 Pro Wrestling Report Honors Wrestler of the Year, John Cena.
Well, but
I'd
he
say
was
a very
face.
vocal 30% of the world hates John Cena.
He was a face, though.
By
a little bit.
General definition.
Right. But if this is the last match of the night...
But Shawn Michaels was a heavier face in last year's match than John Cena was.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying.
It was a great match, by the way.
Randy Orton hasn't been a face.
Yes, he has.
Well,
he won the
finished,
championship.
Mike!
When he won the championship.
Thank
Frank.
you very much. I was going to say that, but since you still can't figure it out that I could end things, it's been a while since he's been face. In this case, do you send the fans home unhappy by him winning it? Because it's the last match, I don't think it happens. I think Triple H comes out with the championship belt.
Are you done?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Your choice in the main. Top of the card. This match, the one WrestleMania being built around.
I'm going to use my Money in the Bank philosophy on this match.
You're gonna grab
For starters, John Cena will not win this match.
Will not win this
Will
match.
not
The 2007
win this
PWR
match.
Honors Wrestler of the Year will not win this match.
As chosen
in
by
your
you, the
opinion.
fans. Will not win this match. We are going to follow the philosophy that the face chases the belt. There's money in the chase. The Randy Orton John Cena saga will continue because you're winner of the match and still champion and solidified, as Damian Nelson told you, Randy Orton. Triple H does not need this belt to be on the top of the card.
Limited seats are still available for WrestleMania 24, Citrus Bowl, Orlando, Florida. Meathead and myself will be reporting from the event. In addition to this preview show you're seeing on Wednesday, March 26th, We'll be bringing you a wrap-up of TNA's Live Impact. We'll be bringing you a wrap-up of the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We'll be bringing you a wrap-up of WrestleMania 24. We'll be bringing you a wrap-up of the Raw the following night. By God, PWR has the most comprehensive and complete coverage of WrestleMania 24 anywhere. And we don't just mean WrestleMania 24, but it's the week activities, including TNA and Ring of Honor.